Hey, what is going on, everyone? So, today I've got some exciting news straight from the Once Human development team. There are huge changes on the way that they've announced in their Discord, everything from non-shutdown servers to a brand new PVE scenario, cross-character asset sharing, resource allocation overhauls, and improvements to the construction system. So, there's a lot to cover here. So, if you have any thoughts on what I'm covering, definitely drop a comment down below. I would love to see it. But without further ado, let's hop into it. So first up, let's talk about non-shutdown servers. So previously, these were actually called permanent servers, but I guess because of what the community expectation is for permanent servers, they changed the name to non-shutdown servers. Now, right now in the game, whenever a scenario ends, the server closes and your character moves to Eternal Land if you haven't signed up for a new scenario. But a lot of players have spoken up, and some of you want to keep building in the same scenario, keep your progress, or just play at your own pace. So starting on March 13th, they will introduce non-shutdown servers. So here's how it works. Once a scenario settlement phase finishes, the server will convert into a non-shutdown server instead of closing. Now this conversion will take about 2 hours, during which the server will be inaccessible. Afterward, you can choose to stay on that server and continue playing, go back to Eternal Land, or just sign up for a new scenario. Now if you've been inactive for 30 days or more, your character will not be transferred to the non-shutdown server, and instead it will go to Eternal Land. But don't worry, there are plans to relax this restriction in the next quarter, so returning players will not be left behind. The main reason they're doing this is in order to ease the server load for the active players on the server. Also, once the server switches to the non-shutdown status, servers of the same scenario type and visional wheel status will merge into a single world on the server. You will be able to switch between worlds to interact with more players, and over time, worlds with low activity might be merged again. So if you're worried about dwindling player population, server mergers seem like a good solution to that. Now in terms of updating the non-shutdown servers, major scenario changes like new regions and big region modifications or new public crisis events will not be applied to non-shutdown servers. However, important quality of life things like construction optimizations, ranching and farming changes, weapon balance tweaks, cosmetics, events, and bug fixes will still apply on non-shutdown servers. And for servers with a visional wheel tag, the current theme will continue to cycle into the next theme on that same non-shutdown server. So if you're playing on a non-shutdown server, you still will get the new visional wheels. So I think these are some really exciting changes because it allows players to play at their own pace. I know personally for me, I don't always have time to hop in and get the full experience of a scenario just because life things end up popping up, like the fact that I'm actually going to be a dad soon, so that is pretty exciting. But I think it's really great for a lot of players. I think that this has been a big point of feedback from the player base. I would love to see them take this a step further and really introduce like truly permanent servers that we've seen on other MMOs. But I think this is a step in the right direction, and I really appreciate the fact that now we don't need to rush through scenarios. Now, speaking of scenarios, a brand new PVE scenario was announced called Endless Dream. Now, this scenario is set in a shifting dreamscape. And the concept of the scenario is that when the sleeper appears, it warps the wilderness into a bizarre dreamscape. Even the deviants and resources in the world will be transformed. There's also some exciting key features about this scenario, such as a fully accessible map. Yes, the Way of Winter and the Manibus map will be combined in this scenario. So from Broken Delta to Ember Strand, you'll be able to explore everything, and you'll be able to explore it from Phase 1. So the entire map will be completely unlocked as soon as you start, and you won't need to wait until a specific phase for the other regions of the map to unlock. There will also be dynamic environmental effects, so the dreamscape will react to your actions apparently, and you might be plunged into darkness or hit with weird vulnerabilities like spontaneously combusting or becoming super weak. So kind of curious to see what's going to happen with this, but it seems pretty interesting. Also, they're giving us more freedom in this scenario in terms of construction, so you can now use construction mode or building mode anywhere, not just in your territory. So they mentioned think outside the box when you're kind of placing your facilities around the map. Also, seasonal phases will no longer be time locked in the scenario. Instead, the progress of seasonal phases will be based on how fast players hunt the original entity enemy that's in the map behind all the nightmares. Now, a lot of these changes are meant to kind of keep exploration and combat feeling fresh and just add more replayability. The developers say that they hope that every session that you have on this scenario feels different and feels unique. So I think this sounds pretty exciting. I think that's been a big issue with a lot of the scenarios is, a big point of feedback has been just the same thing kind of over and over again with slight tweaks. So I'm glad that they're trying to take a different approach here and have a scenario that feels unique every time you play. Now, there's plenty of details we still don't know yet about this Endless Dream scenario, but so far so good in my mind. I would love to know what you think down in the comments below, because I know there's a lot of PvE players out there that are interested in a new PvE scenario. Now, here is a big one for those of you who are juggling multiple characters. So starting on March 27th, certain progress and items will be shared across all characters on your account. So this should make it way easier to try new scenarios or join in with friends without feeling held back. I know there's some of you out there that like to have a PvE character and a PvP character and try out different scenarios, so this should be pretty big news for you. So let's talk about what exactly is shared. So after March 27th, all characters on your account will share the Stellar Stairway progress, Star Chrom, and blueprint data of the character with the highest blueprint collection level. Now, Star Chrom compensation will be given to you if you invested in multiple characters. So for example, if you have 3 characters at level 100, 40, and 20, the highest level 100 will be the one that ends up being used. Now, the other 2 levels will add up to 60, so that 40 and 20 level, and you will get Star Chrom compensation based on that total. So up to 40,000 Star Chrom can be earned. Now, the reason that they're doing this is they said if they aggregated all of the Star Chrom and all of your blueprint collection levels and all of your Stellar Stairway progress, it would create balancing issues. So instead, they're giving Star Chrom as compensation for maybe some of those accounts that aren't the highest level. Also, mods and weapon accessories will be shared across all your characters. So they will get aggregated into one shared pool. And if you have any duplicates there, they will automatically be disassembled for you. Also, cosmetics like most fashion items and actions and emotes, keyword effects, things like that, and name cards will become shared. And if you have any duplicates there, they will also be disassembled automatically. Any exceptions to these specific cosmetics will be clearly labeled as well in your inventory. Also, certain formulas and certain tokens will also be shared, and they will also be labeled as well, so you'll know which ones are transferring over. But they gave some examples like emblem unlock tokens, weapon renaming cards, phantom cubes. All of these will be shared across characters. Also, they're introducing something new in Eternal Land called an account depot. So an account depot in Eternal Land will let you deposit gear and items, converting them into space-time backpack items, and then you can spend resource points to move those items from your space-time backpack to your scenario backpack. So essentially, the account depot allows you to transfer items between characters. Now, after this update, you will need to log in with each character at least once in order to initiate the transfer and the merge of all your data. So I think this is a really great change as well. I know it's been another big point of feedback, so I want to know, what do you think about this in the comments down below. Now let's take a look at how the developers are tweaking resource allocation and deviation optimization. So on March 13th, they'll be making some tweaks to morph deviations. So they're essentially streamlining the way that you can earn certain morph deviations. So they said it will be more focused, but the overall probability of getting these morph deviations will remain unchanged. And before the launch on the 13th, they will be giving you a list of which deviations are affected and how you can obtain them. Also on the 13th, they will be improving the Lunar Oracle crate rules. So when you open Lunar Oracle crates, deviations that belong to you will be prioritized, and there's a limit to how many deviations can appear on screen. The duration of deviation spheres is also being shortened, so it's less confusing when trying to capture them. Now, in terms of resource allocation changes, these are planned for March 27th. So there will be high-risk zones that will drop rarer resources, some of which are brand new. Now, this is to reinforce that high-risk zones should come with higher rewards. Also, the yield rate for advanced resources is being adjusted because some of it is moving into high-risk zones. Mimetic specialization effects and certain game mode rewards will also be changed to keep everything balanced. There are also new special ammo types and tactical items on the way, and they're going to actually require these rare resources in order to craft. Also, a huge change here is that they are removing controllers from the game. So controllers and related features are being removed. Any rewards that used to drop from controllers will now yield mods directly to you, with some resource rewards also shifting to high-risk zones. So that is a pretty major change. I know a lot of people focused on getting as many controllers as they could, and there are really great kind of controller runs that you could do daily and weekly. So I want to know, what do you think about these sort of changes here? I'm pretty excited for these high-risk zones to drop higher rewards. I think that's really cool, and I think that's kind of a standard in a lot of different games, so I'm glad that they're doing it here. And finally, we've got a big batch of construction improvements coming our way, so let's dive in. So on March 27th, they will be introducing a more intuitive power management. So they're going to be having automatic power connections. So generators will now auto connect to create an electrical network. Also, in construction mode, you will be able to see the total and current power consumption in real time, plus a more detailed power usage breakdown on the generator screen. They're also making some changes to water and production management. So there will be a smart output management system. So water pumps and rainwater collector systems will let you choose outputs based on your region's resources. Also, water filters and brewing barrels will allow selectable outputs, simplifying your production line. There will also be automated liquid transport, so things like impure acid and barreled crude oil can move through water pipes. Also, production will now continue while offline, and it will be calculated from how long you've been away. They're also making some territory related changes here. So they're going to have smart terrain adaptation. So relocating the places for your territory with big terrain differences will be smoother, and any trees or rocks in the way will automatically get cleared. They will also be introducing more creative building parts like mirrored stairs and half-height fences. And you can also place carpets under furniture without having to move things around first. Also, they're making improvements in the building mode to allow better snapping and just better orientation for the objects that you're placing. They also have some future plans where they want to optimize the load system, snapping rules, building permissions, house blueprint sharing, and more. I'm personally excited for house blueprint sharing. That's something that they mentioned a while ago, so I'm glad that they brought it up here. So there you have it, folks. A bunch of changes are on the way. I would love to know what you think about these in the comments down below. And of course, if you did enjoy today's video, be sure to like and subscribe to help support the channel. We also have an awesome Discord too, so if you have any feedback on these updates or any future updates, feel free to join over there. That's actually where I usually announce what server I'm joining as well, and we get a bunch of people to join the same server, so probably we'll be doing that with Endless Dream when that comes out. So if you're interested in that, be sure to join the Discord, linked in the description down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.